was that? I guess I can just center it. Alright, I guess this will just be good enough for now. Uh, so this is a sorry, pour more again. This is just a quick little preview of some of what I've written. Um, and I will be reading it out. Uh, so if you have caught any of my writing streams, um, then you know I've gone over um, some of the background and world building for the book I'm writing and the characters. So this is going to be sharing just a little bit of the initial part of it. I don't know how long it's going to take me to finish it because it is intended to be a two-book series, you know, series. And I don't know even how long it's going to take to finish the first book because, again, I'm only in like chapter 5 right now. Um, I have been trying to write more this past week, which is part of why I was a little um, busy and or more busy and didn't stream as much. So this is just again, a little preview. And I'll just read it out. It starts with prologue some time ago. First, there was nothingness. Then there was darkness, an inky void like currents of the ocean. Fell blackness weighed down upon him until his awareness faded back into the nothingness it had first stirred from. Then consciousness of a sort would return, and the darkness would greet him again. There was no thought, no feeling, just a dim awareness of transition between emptiness and ethereal shadow. He existed in the darkness, in the swirling obsidian distinct from oblivion, but with the realization of existing, of being something residing in this sterile plane, began the churning cogs of reflection. Bits and pieces of contemplation, though brief and scattered like mirror shards, trickled together to form invisible stars. His mind followed the pinpricks of musings, against the field of black, constellations he could not see and yet was aware of as they were born from him. In the twinkling of their glass-like clarity, something else began to take shape, spilling out into the shadow in swaths of gray-green mist, so murkily translucent as to almost be imperceptible. Honey, what do you want? Come here. Come on. But perceive them he did, and with them came images, emotions, memories of the past, of those he had known, of things he had done, promises made, lies told, secrets and smiles, places of warmth, moments of terror, a flash of emerald eyes shifting between calm, fearfulness, disgust, and defiance. Then the vision of a blood-red circle on a plain of white, and many more eyes upon him. Hang on a minute. Let me see if I can get a little cat cam in here for you while I give this sneak peek. You'll get bonus. You'll get bonus, double bonus, cat cam, and sneak peek of a book that I am writing. Okay. Hi. Entreaty. With each dream, the moments of nothingness receded more and more, and he became aware of other things. A sensation of coalescence, of being weighted down, not by the darkness, but by something within himself. He was falling away from the blackness, and yet remained completely still. A twitch of sensation, as growing cognizance of bone and viscera, flowed downward from the seat of his perception. Then another observation, the passage of time. How long he did not know, but he was still able to discern a chronological shift from one moment to the next. Suddenly there was pain and suffocation. Time carried on as the curious interest changed to fearful torment, his mind rooted to a writhing, clawing form, no longer floating in the pseudo-night. The darkness, too, had become altered, as if a veil of smoky cloth had been torn apart, revealing another kind of gloom, this one more solid, more near, more real. Judgment. He struggled, flinging what he dimly remembered were called limbs at the confining surface above him. A sound met his ears. Yes? There was a crack of thunder, and a pallid bolt of light cut across his vision like a scar of antique gold. When he emerged from the entombing darkness, he had felt for a brief moment that he were being drawn upward, the sensation of meat and bone dissolving into a feeling of weightlessness, as if his mind were wrapped in a cool, fine, watery mist that stretched and twisted through the pale sliver of light. Then, with a dull thud, he was on his back again. Something hard and smooth. Uh, Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the cat and I can't read my own writing. Hang on. Let me bring this closer to me. Mm. Then, twisted the panels of her light. Then, with a dull thud, he was on his back against something hard and smooth, his eyes just shooting open to take in the sight of a muted, daffodil-hued moon. The dark-haired man inhaled, and with that breath he felt every nerve within his body alight on fire. He convulsed, arching against the flat surface below him. Each intake burned his lungs, and he could not find the self-control to close his mouth, instead gulping in great gasps of air. In his throes he managed to roll off the slab he had been lying on, landing hard on the ground with an arm twisted under his torso, only then dimly aware that he was nude. Shaking, sh- Shakily lifting his head, the man glanced around. Through vision blurred by pain, he spied a familiar ring of stone coffins, smooth walls, and a large, polished, engraved disc. Above all, an open roof revealed the sky awash in the prismatic colors of the astral flow. The man attempted to stand, shivering at the throbbing ache in his body and feeling a wrongness. Yes, there was something wrong with him. Shambling forward, he fell to his knees before the mirrored plaque, sucking in a harsh hiss. Looking up, he squinted at the figure he beheld in front of him before realizing it was his own reflection. Packed memories rose again like a whisper at the back of his mind. The young man traced the lines of his twisted form, a mixture of awe, revolt, and understanding brewing behind his eyes that now shifted in hue with the multitude of colors in the sky. Oh, yes, he recalled the path of his life that had led to this moment. He snarled at his mirror twin, a clawed, warped hand reaching out to grip the rough frame. As he painfully pulled himself to his feet again, the glass-like edge bit into his flesh, drawing Icarus crimson fluid that held a sheen of iridescent ultramarine. The man slid his palm across the etched surface of the memorial, a swath of glistening red-blue, marring its sigilized silver sheen and the reflection of his own face. With this, he left the tomb. All was still within the greater graveyard, though faint sounds of activity from other parts of the city were carried upon the cool wind. The dark-haired man made his way among the weathered crypts, still not acclimated to his reborn form. He would collapse in agony upon the dingy brick path, a shivering convulsion racking through him. In those instants the experience of dissolving into weightless mist returned. He would lose sight of his limbs, seeing instead a shapeless shadow around the edge of his vision where his parts should be. and he would glide forward. Then there would be the sensation of unfurling, and he would walk the path on solid feet once more. Under the pale moonlight, he went from grave to grave until he located what he sought, a section of plots marked by blue and yellow flags. He kneeled at each burial, the fingers of his injured hand tracing the names inscribed upon rough stone tablets. When he located those he sought, he pried up the slates, revealing plain wooden caskets in the hollows below. Reaching into the earth, he crudely tore at the lids as he attempted to remove them, his breath quickening. Hunks of darkened wood pulled free from aged nails. When this task was done, he stood, observing the inhabitants of these soil births. Three forms most familiar and dear to his heart, injured in the last moments before their end, and emblazoned with the marks of death well past. Three figures that elicited an ache within his chest, deeper than the physical pain of his rebirth, which was only now beginning to lessen. He held his hand above each grave, new formed claws digging into the wound of his clenched fist, dark crimson flashing with the pulse of cerulean, dripped down over his companions as the first stirrings of an awakened magic fluttered within him. Threads of ethereal essence spun forth from the mage, vapors shifting in shining gray and luminous blue to envelop the bodies. He molded them, changed them, repaired them. Together in death just as in life, and in life they would be reunited again. Then they would claim this city under a new reign. Alright, my stomach is reminding me that I need actual food, not just a small handful of candy. Um, yep, so that was the prologue of my book. Um, and let me switch over back to my BRB screen again. Okay. Um, shut that down. Okay. Turn that off.